Hello friends, a new film review today, and the film is a Bengali film this time, Macher Jhol, which means fish curry. So it's a very deep kind of a film in the sense that they have shown the typical father-son relationship, the ego clashes, and how the women of the family get, totally crushed in the ego game of father and son. This is the basically the gist of the story. So the story is like this: that there's this guy who is the only son of a businessman, and very typically, as seen in Bengali families, that son is meritorious. They are educated well. Education is well taken care of, tuition and stuff and everything, and all this for what? So that the son gets either in engineering or a medical college. So exactly this is what happens with the guy played by Ritik Chakravarti here. So the son gets through in engineering college, but basically it's shown that the father is a very dominating character here, and he whatever he wants, that is what happens. So the guy becomes an engineer, and by the time he's 26, he's hastily gotten married, an arranged marriage, because they saw a good girl and they get them married. But what happens with the guy is was more interested in becoming a chef. He was very passionate about cooking and all that, and he tells his mother that he would rather become a chef, and he had got some entry in a foreign institute for chef, cooking and all that stuff. So since he had got a chance, so he didn't want to give it up. So he just tells his father that he will give up his engineering. He was working already, so he wanted to quit his job, and he wanted to join the course of the course that would make him a chef eventually. So the father is very angry with him, and he throws him out of the house. And when he's packing up and he's going, his wife comes in and says, where are you going, and what about me? So the guy just says that, Ritik says that that's not my business, because it's my father who got you and tied you to me. This was an arranged marriage, so you see what you can do about it. And he just goes. So basically, one part of the story shows that there is a lot of struggle. He eventually becomes a very sought after chef. He does very well. He goes abroad. He tells about his struggle also. Like first he was a dishwasher, and then he becomes a frying French fries for a couple of years. Then he became a saucier. He used to make sauces, and then they basically showed that the 13 years of struggle was pretty strugglesome, and then he eventually becomes a very famous chef. Then he's covered in various magazines and stuff like that. So that is his story, Ritik's story. So basically the turning point comes when Turning point comes when the mother falls ill and he comes back to India. He was in a live-in relationship with a French girlfriend, and everyone knew about it since he had become a celebrity chef. So he comes back home, and his mother is very ill, and he with some brain tumor, and that needs to be operated and all. And he's surprised to see his ex-wife, like not even ex-wife, he had not divorced her, by the way, he had just gone off, leaving her alone. So he sees her, and he was surprised because he thought that she will probably move on. But this is India, and he didn't quite realize that it's not so easy for a married woman to move on. So he's wondering why she's with him, and eventually he comes to know that while he left her, that was the time she was also pregnant. But she went ahead and gave birth to the child, but she told everyone in the family, I don't know how it happened, but she told everyone in the family that no one should know the father of the son, her child, is Ritik. And it's kept as a secret from the fellow Ritik. And he is happily abroad, and he's happily living in with a French girlfriend, and he's wanting to marry her also. And then he suddenly comes to know that he's got a 13 years old son, because he was away for 13 years. And when he asks his wife, how come she never told me about the child? The wife says, I didn't want to, force you to be with me. Your wish, you can go. So, and she was working as a teacher, and she was taking care of her son alone. She was not even taking much financial help from the parents, from her in-laws also. And her father had expired. So she was alone and taking care of the child. So I didn't quite understand, but they have tried to show it something to be very great. I don't quite agree with it, because I don't see any reason why she should hide the fact from the child also that he has a father and his name is such and such. I mean, where's the need to hide? You can always at least say, why deprive the child of the love of grandparents? Why not tell the child who he is? Like, okay, it's understandable if you're a sex worker and you don't know who the father is, whoever customer was who made you pregnant. That's understandable. I don't know how the children of sex workers, probably they have a different school and they are given education at all, if they are given education. But why in this case? Why hide the name of the father? I didn't understand. It's not quite convincing. She wasn't living in. She was a properly married woman, and she had all the rights to tell the child that the name of the father, and the father also needed to know that. Moreover, the father could have been given a chance. See, he had a very strict childhood. Probably as a father, he could have been a very good father. You know, that's how men get a chance to relive their childhood through their children. Anyway, that is probably my understanding of motherhood and fatherhood and parenthood. Not many people understand that. So probably in this movie they tried to make a very great lady out of that, his wife, that she's taking care alone, she's financially taking care of the child, she's hiding the fact from the world. I'm not convinced at all with that. I mean, that was one point where the film was not very convincing for me. Anyway, this guy says, okay, why didn't you tell me about the child? I didn't want to pull you back. Fine, big deal. So the child is 13 years old, and by the time you are 6 or 7, you ask about father, who's my father, what about my father? Because, you know, children will see fathers coming and picking up the children. Different children will discuss about their fathers. So, you know, this something which cannot be hushed up. It is traumatic for a child to not know the name of the father. And I'm not talking like some archaic, puranic hayalat ki woman. It is a very, very much required. I mean, especially in this movie. I mean, there's no reason why the name of the father should be hidden from the child. Anyway, there's this guy who goes back to his French girlfriend. His mother becomes alright. He goes back to his French girlfriend and lives happily ever after with her. He marries her and all that. And his wife continues to look after the child. Oh my god, what a sacrifice. I don't know what they wanted to show in this. She was not even shown having any relationship with any man. No man had come in her life. So basically they are expecting Indian women to be once you have become a mother, you have been impregnated, you look after the child. After that, even if you have a sex life, or you even have a companion, it doesn't matter because you're a mother. I mean, this is BS. I'm sorry, I can't use cuss word, but I was not convinced with this. You know, taking care alone of the child and becoming a great mother alone. I don't know. I'm not very convinced. I'm sorry, I'm repeating the same thing again and again. So this is what the movie is all about, a typical father-son ego clash, and how the women of the family are crushed in it. And it's very much commonly seen in Bengal, because older men don't want to accept the fact that the young generation can have something better to give them. They think that whatever they know and whatever they feel is right, and that's the ultimate. So this is what the movie is all about. Very slow moving. Okay, thanks for listening.